Honourable member from Burnaby-Lougheed.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thanks to the member for Burnaby-Deer Lake for the time that she's allowing for me to during this advanced education estimate so that I can raise some critical issues to the minister's attention on behalf of my community. Now, as the minister is aware, Simon Fraser University in my constituency is being forced to close its 60-unit family residence this coming August. Louis Riel House is specifically designated for low-income, mature students and family. And given that it was only built in the 70s, it's disturbing, and I would imagine the minister to agree with me to see this kind of asset go under way too short of its shelf life. So I've been calling on the ministry for action since my first visit to the facility 2 years ago. Having seen then for myself that the units were being closed one after another due to inhabitable conditions, it has come to pulling the plug on the entire building now. So obviously this is just one example of many more to come, I'm sure, given that a report in 2011 found over half of SFU's buildings to be in a poor condition. That's over half. So to think that SFU is one of many institutions across BC facing the exact same kind of challenge, I would imagine this issue to be the minister's top priority. So I can anticipate that maybe the minister perhaps would answer by stating that the ministry has provided SFU with $2.2 million for capital maintenance projects. But of course, I would argue that the cost of infrastructure upkeep is at least $12 million annually. And the government until 2008 provided only half of that at about $6 million, and that was already a severe underfunding at that point, but the assault was driven further in 2010-2011 period when the amount further dropped to just $500,000. And that's like asking one to do $100 worth of work with $4 budget. So clearly that was unexcusable, and the funding has come up since then to the current level of $2.2 million. But even so, it provides only 18% of the funding that we need to do the necessary upkeep. So there's outstanding accumulated upkeep issues at hand here, and I was hoping to get the minister's comments today, what the ministry's plans are to address this issue, because the $2.2 million just isn't going to cut it when we have halls and rooms and now the entire building that's forcing to a close.
Minister noting the hour.
Agreed, Mr. Chair. And so this is a rather complicated question with a complicated answer, and I'll attempt to be brief. There was an article that came up in the Vancouver Sun on March 11th that says, as the headline, "After years of neglect, residents to close," and it pointed out that the L'Oreal building was 50 years old, and the vice president responsible said of L'Oreal House that it had reached the end of its useful life, but acknowledged that was because the university had failed to properly maintain it. So there are two angles on this. First is the capital budget which we provide, which includes capital maintenance and overhaul, and Simon Fraser University has received $295,400,000 since 2001 under that heading. And so we turn to the institutions and ask them to manage their affairs as they see fit. They are autonomous. We do not manage their or micromanage their budgets. And so at one level, one has to ask where the money was going in light of the need to maintain a building like the L'Oreal House. On the other hand, we are aware that the capital stock of buildings around the province is very variable. Some are almost new and require no maintenance. Some are in very good condition. Others have deteriorated. Others are much, much older than Simon Fraser University, but are built in such a way that they are more durable. So this is an issue we're aware of, and we continue to work with the institutions to address the issue. Now, Mr. Chair, I would move that the committee rise, report progress, and seek leave to sit again.